We're gonna put the cuffs on you. So when you put the cuffs on, I want you to put them on as high or as proximally on your leg as you can get them. You're gonna put them on, put it through the loop, and just cinch them over and make sure we have an overlap. Now we want it further up in this. So let's go ahead and put these, is this a 4? Hold on one second. This is a 4, let me use a 3. Try this one. We always do both sides. If you see someone doing one side of BFR, it's not the right way to do it. We need to have a little bit more training. Because when we actually do this, you want this to come under. There you go. Because for each limb, let me help you with that too. Let's turn it this way. And unvelcro it for a second. There we go. For each limb that you occlude, you're actually gonna increase the cardiac output of the heart by 12%. So when we do one limb, it's a 12% increase. When we do 2 limbs, it's a 24% increase. And you want that 24% range. And do you guys know what happens with the stroke volume of the heart when you increase the cardiac output? That's what I was gonna say. I don't know exactly how much a 24% increase of cardiac output, because it's a pure stroke volume increase. Yeah, exactly. So it's a pure stroke increase. All right, so now if you could kick off, just scoot that shoe down a little bit. It doesn't have to come all the way off. I'm gonna move your sock down too. So we are gonna find your pulse, and we're gonna use that to determine our max occlusion pressure. So the max occlusion pressure with BFR is not a full occlusion. So it's gonna feel like a tourniquet. Yeah, it's probably the best. It's gonna feel like a tourniquet, but it's not actually a full tourniquet, because arterial blood, almost no matter what we do, is gonna continue to enter into the leg. But venous blood's not gonna be able to return, because we know venous structures are weaker than arterial structures. And this is just BFR, it's just a medium for it. And I'll tell you some of the science as I'm getting this thing pumped up. Let's go. All right. Hang up right there. .210. So 210 is your max occlusion pressure. So Michael, what percentage are we gonna come down to? What's the ideal range? What's the ideal pressure for lower extremity? 80% is the ideal. We're gonna do you at 80%. So we normally start people at 60%, but we're not with you. 60% of 210. 60% of 200 is one of 200? Wouldn't it be 120? So then, okay, we'll go off that. So we're gonna go 168 is 80%. Oh, then we're definitely using 168. All right, squeeze your quad, contract, and relax. One more time. Relax. We'll start there. It's a little bit lower than 80.
So what's the purpose of training the leg and bringing it back?
We want to evacuate as much air from the pump as we can, or much excess air. And we want the measurement of the pressure when the leg is fully at rest, too. Contract and relax. Contract and relax. Perfect, okay. So, while we're squatting, I will tell you the science. If you want to go ahead and just kick that shoe off, we can just do this without shoes or socks on, and I'll scoot your sock up. All right. So I'm gonna get you to stand right here. And I just want you to squat to face, let's face this way. Squat to full depth. 30 times with a 2-second tempo. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 30 times. So what's happening too when you're doing this is because venous blood is staying in the limb. Arterial blood's coming in, venous blood can't leave. You're having a pulling effect of blood. So you're actually you're gonna finish this with a lot more blood in the leg than would be otherwise. Because deoxygenated blood is the primary blood in the limb, the only fibers you can access are top 2 fibers. So you're firing all these power fibers, your aerobic fibers are just exhausted, there's no type 1 activity at all. So because of that, you have a byproduct of lactate. When you fire the anaerobic systems a ton, lactate accumulates in the blood. When the lactate accumulates, the brain responds, it starts to freak out. So the pituitary gland responds and it secretes almost an equal amount of human growth hormone in reaction. So not locally though. So locally you have all the lactate buildup, but systemically you have an HGH response. So right now your wrists, your shoulders, all of that are getting the same response. And what do we know about HGH? Eventually down the chain, it converts into a testosterone output. So that's where the strength gains come in, that's where all that comes in. On top of that, you're under cardiac stress at this point. So there's gonna be far more your CK levels have risen. You have a cardiac stressor at this point. A lot of the research has this on elite trained athletes. So like basketball players wore the cuffs twice a day, 3 days a week for 15 minutes for 6 weeks. And on average, their VO2 maxes went up 11%, which is absolutely insane. You don't see that. And there's some really cool research on it overall. They did BFR cuffs on kids who were in a coma, and the kids who were on BFR in the coma showed no brain atrophy. And the kids who were in a coma and did not wear BFR had an 8% atrophied brain after 4 weeks. It's insane.